Os. Welcome UNLV students to the Shotokan Karate Studies program. By now you should know you've already warmed up, you've gotten the warm-up that you feel your body needs, you're adequate for starting the program this morning. So let's go ahead and get started with our typical, quick, general warm-up. Ready? And Hajime. Ichi. Ni. San. Yon. Go. All right, warmed up good there. Let's turn to the side, bring our heels to our glutes. Good, all right. Let's go ahead and do some high knees as well. Get my workout recorded, here we go. High knees. You can do this slow, just like I'm doing. Again, just bringing your knees up. You can do it fast if you feel like kind of bouncing a little bit, working your calves a little bit. Or if you want to go slow, go slow. And yame. All right, let's come up on our toes, stretching out our calves. And yame. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and do some body hip twists. And yame. Good. Arm up, across the side, stretching out our shoulder. Good, other side. Again, don't hold these too long. Just doing dynamic stretches here. Nothing too static, nothing being held for too long. Switching over. Other side. Good. Feet just widen shoulder width. Go down, touch the floor. Go to the right. Back to center. Go to the left. Back to center. All right, make that a little wider. We're gonna go down to the right, turning up on our left heel, stretching out our hamstring. Good, now we're gonna turn to the left in a long front stance. Pushing on the quad here, pushing the knee over the toe. And down to a runner stand, or a runner stretch. Good. Back up. All right, we're gonna do everything to the other side now. Leaning to the left onto the right heel. Toes pointed up. Stretching out your hamstring. All right, let's rotate that all the way around. Good front stance, long, deep, pushing on the quad, pushing the knee out over the toe, getting a good stretch. Transition that into a runner stretch. And come back to center, come back standing. Good. Turn around, fix your gi. Back to me. Yoi. Subirachi. Free. Yoi. Seiza. Dojo-kun. 一つ、人格完成に人を盛ること。一つ、誠の道を守ること。一つと力の精神を養うこと。一つ礼儀を重んずること。一つ景気の湯を戒めること。Ready? That's it. よい。しばらく。Ready? よい。So today's class is an advanced class, and what we're going to start doing with some of these advanced classes are leaving some of this stuff up to you, right? So as an advanced student, as I often have said in the past, you should be finding your own karate at this point, right? So you're not doing Justin Hawkins karate, right? Just as I have trained with several other senseis, I'm not doing Rick Houghton karate. I'm not doing Sensei Jonas Bieri karate. Those are the things that, as an advanced student, you should be kind of pulling away from and kind of finding your own style. So what I'd like to do for these advanced classes is just kind of introduce or talk about some key points and some things that you can work on your own and develop, okay? Instead of watching me do something, you should be looking at things more practical at this point. Hopefully you have an uke or another student that you can train with that you're able to kind of go over some of these things and really put it into more practical application at this point, right? Learning the basics is what you do as a beginner. Honing those skills is what you do as an intermediate student. And once you're advanced, you have that big base, right? You have the pyramid, and you're kind of approaching the top of that pyramid, okay? So that's kind of where you should be now, the students that I'm speaking to. And so let's talk about a couple of things. So blocks is one thing that I wanted to talk about. Well, actually, let's just start. I have some notes here, so I'm just going to start reaching through some of these things. Things that will make you a better student of karate, all right? So some things that you want to look at are being able to work with an uke, right? So being able to work with another student. Those things are going to be key, all right? If you're able to work with another student, another individual, whether they're lower ranked than you or higher ranked than you or equal rank as you, being able to spar some, to actually have punches thrown at you, and being able to see how the human anatomy works. How does the body react to various blocks and techniques and things like that that aren't karate based, all right? So I kind of want to, you have to get into a mindset that you are not going to be fighting as a Taekwondo student, always fighting another Taekwondo student, always fighting another Muay Thai student, always fighting another Jiu-Jitsu student, right? Because you get locked into that realm of, well, this is what I do, right? Boxers fight in a ring and they have gloves on and they're wearing shorts and they're wearing these particular shoes. Those are the things that you kind of have to start pulling away from a little bit in the practicality of karate. Because a lot of times maybe you'll look at like self-defense classes online, and if someone grabs like your lapel, you're supposed to grab and then turn, and then there's so many other little things, or you break their posture, or these little things that you do, but at the same time they have another arm, they have legs, right? There's all these other things that they can, oh, you're going to start doing that with my hand? Well, then I'm going to kick you. Or you're going to grab my hand? Okay, well then this hand's going to come over and punch you. There's those type of things that a lot of people don't take into account when they're doing these simple self-defense techniques. And they say, oh, this is going to work because you're going to do this and you're going to break their posture here and then you're going to turn this over here. Not taking into account all the other limbs that are available by your attacker, all right, or for your attacker, okay? So karate typically is a one and done, right? You're defending a one punch and then you escape. And that's really what you should be working on, okay? I'm not training you to get into karate combat, right? To be, a mutual combat fighter, all right? Karate was made for non-mutual combat, okay? So I've gone over this in the past as well. There's a difference between mutual combat, right? Mutual combat is you and I agree that we're going to fight. We're going to wear gi, or we're going to wear pads on our feet and pads on our hands and a padded helmet or mouth guard. We're not going to hit each other in the face. We're only going to hit below the neck or below the shoulders and maybe above the knees. That's mutual combat. You've agreed to rules. Non-mutual combat is what you're looking at in a street fight, a mugging situation, someone who's approaching you to do bad things. It's a you don't want any part of it. You just walked into a situation, or a situation found you, okay? That's non-mutual combat, and that's what you're training for. You're training to defend yourself, to protect yourself or someone else, so that you can evade, escape, get away, and be alive without damage to yourself as much as possible. So those are the things that you should be really looking at, okay? When you start working with an uke, you can start working on things like speed, right? Because typically in martial arts or in karate specifically, when you work with a partner, you're both standing, like one person would be standing here, another would be standing at least an arm's length away, right? At least an arm's length away, and then you would start a kumite, right? So one person comes down into a Genabarai kumite, right? So I'm ready now, you can see that I'm ready, and you know that I'm going to attack with an oizuki punch or mai geri with the rear leg, right? So I'm going to step forward. It's going to be very clean, it's going to be very linear, you know what's coming, you know what to look for. And so what do? You stand, they step back, you see the punch coming, and you block it, right? You block it, and you maybe step forward with a counterattack, okay? Same thing, they come forward with that same punch, block, counterattack, right? We've done this, right? And that's what you do in the beginning. Because what you're trying to do is understand and fully grasp the concept of this is what blocks are supposed to do. This is what punches are supposed to do. This is how my stance has become strong, right? That's what you're learning at these lower belt levels. And to get into the speed part a little bit more is slow down, right? I think a lot of students coming in think, I'm going to get my black belt in a year, I'm going to be done, and I'm going to be a master, and I'm going to start teaching on my own, and I'm going to make $5 a month per student, or whatever it happens to be, right? Don't enter into this with that mindset. Now, you're an advanced student, so you're already beyond the point of beginner intermediate, right? You're probably purple belt, brown belt, black belt even. And so I want you to kind of think about slowing down and really understanding what's happening. Right, so understanding karate a little bit more, watching movies, reading books, understanding really what it's about, and not trying to figure out how you can make a buck, or trying to figure out how you can advance more quickly, right? I just want that black belt. That's all that matters to me, is I just want to get that black belt. I want to be able to tell people I'm a black belt, and that's not why you got into this, hopefully. And if it is, you're in it for the wrong reason. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit as well. So other things to take into account when you're doing this kind of thing is this is all really about, like I said, self-defense, right? Self-preservation. If someone attacks you, you're looking to counter and get out of the way, or escape, evade. What we typically practice on, where we typically practice, is in a dojo, right? I've got these 1/4-inch pads on the floor, I'm barefoot. This is what I'm used to practicing on. Will you be attacked on that? Probably not, right? When you're going to be attacked, you're going to be wearing shoes, you're going to be wearing jeans, you're going to be wearing pants, shorts, a shirt, maybe a jacket over that, maybe a sweater, maybe a sweatshirt. However you dress throughout your day is most likely how you're going to be attacked, right? Surfaces, right? Are you going to be wearing shoes? Are you going to be wearing flip-flops? Are you going to be wearing business shoes? Sneakers? Are you going to be in a parking lot where there's curbs and there's parking bumps or park stops, gravel, uneven surfaces, grass, right? These are areas that where you're typically going to be attacked. And so it's not always going to be, oh, this perfect level mat that's easy to stand on, it's easy to step and do stances and, those type of things. Things you want to take into consideration. Maybe if you have the opportunity, go to a park. Practice with your shoes on. Practice with your shoes off. Gravel parking lot. A parking lot in general, just an asphalt covered area, right? Tennis court is a great place to go and practice as well, because again, you're on a hard surface, right? It's probably even, unless it's an older tennis court, maybe it's a little broken up in places, it's a little bit uneven, but it gives you an opportunity, again, to kind of explore what you're able to do on a surface that's not your typical surface. And it gives you some time to understand maybe how you move differently, right? So some things to think about, again. Zanshin is another big thing that we talk about. So we talk about it in the dojo, having Zanshin or awareness, right? Just situational awareness. But Zanshin is something that you should always carry outside of the dojo as well. So Zanshin is something that in a restaurant, right? I typically like to sit with my my front facing the door so I can see who's coming in, who's coming out. That's just situational awareness. That it's just something that I typically do. I like to do. I come into a restaurant, I sit down, I say, okay, where are the exits in here? I'm sitting here, but there's the door. Maybe there's a door over here as well. The bathrooms are back over there. Those type of things. And you should be doing that as well, because it helps you to understand if something happens, how can I get out of here alive? It also helps you when you're walking down the street, right? So if you're walking down the street looking at your phone and just walking, you're not aware of what's going on around you at all. Someone who's watching you from 50 yards down the road who sees this guy's not paying attention, he's looking down at his cell phone, so when he gets close to me, I'm going to snatch that phone. Or when he gets close to me, I'm going to punch him in the face and then rob him, right? So situational awareness is just being aware of what's out there. I can remember specifically, Sensei Houghton and I were leaving a restaurant. We were walking down the street on this particular side of the street where we knew the car was parked, and we saw a rough-looking guy, I think he's probably homeless, talking to himself and just kind of stumbling around on the sidewalk, that we were eventually going to be down. But the two of us were talking, but mentally we both saw it. We both became aware of what was happening down the street. Without saying a word about it, without mentioning it to one another, we crossed the street. We were just talking, walking, kind of just hanging out, and we just kind of, again, Zanshin, we kind of saw what's happening down the street and just made a conscious effort. Let's go ahead and cross over here, go down a little bit further, and then we'll cross back when we get to the car. Neither one of us had to say anything to each other. We just knew, based on situational awareness, that I don't want to get into that situation. I don't want to deal with that right now. That's something that you should be thinking about as well. Don't look for fights. Don't go around all the time going, all right, I can kick his butt, I can kick his butt. That's a pretty small guy. That's not something you want to do. Again, if you see trouble, that guy's got a bit of an attitude, I can tell. That guy's drunk over there. He's kind of getting a bit loud, a bit angry. Don't go over there. Keep yourself over here. Move this direction with you and your family or whomever that you happen to be with, right? That's situational awareness. That's Zanshin. And that's something, again, you should be carrying outside of the dojo, okay? So to get into some things to work on, we're going to, before class is wrapped up today. So let's also talk about some of the things that make you, again, a better student is fitness, okay? So a lot of the classes that we do, I kind of go through the entire class with you. You're watching, you're participating, and things like that. But I would like for you to be able to go and do some more fitness type stuff, right? Do some calisthenics classes, do some body weight classes, or body weight exercises. I'm not saying you need to go take a class, but part of your training in a given 5 to 7 day period, part of that should be some type of calisthenics. Walking even helps, okay? So typically in the mornings I'll get up and walk for about a half an hour with a 30-pound weight vest, okay? That helps with mobility and it helps with strength, right? That strengthens my legs, it strengthens my core, those type of things. that's something that you should be looking at, okay? And so mobility, meaning, I don't mean stretching by this, right? So stretching is something else, and you should stretch. We'll get into that too. But mobility is more about, okay, can I lift my leg? Can I turn my leg out, and set it down? Those type of things, okay? Mobility is more, goes hand in hand with stretching. So can I stand here and grab my foot and hold it without losing balance, right? That's mobility. Can I pick up my shoe from the floor, standing on one foot, put it on, right, without losing my balance or having to touch the floor again, right? Again, that's mobility. And as you get older, mobility tends to decline, okay? So you should be doing things that help continue with good mobility. Sitting on the couch all day is not helping. Sitting in an office chair all day does not help. You have to do things that get you out and moving, all right? So stretching is a good part of mobility, and you should stretch. And I've done classes on this in the past, and I'll probably continue to do classes on this going forward, again, for my advanced students, because I want to get you into that mindset of, I need to start doing these things for me now, right? I have the basics. I know what to do, but now I need to go in another direction because this is about me. Stretching. Do stretch routines, right? Take a full day and stretch various parts of your body. If not just a full day, every day. Fitness, okay? Fitness is a big thing as well. Fitness does a lot of things for you. Number one, you carry yourself in a different way. Your head is held high, your shoulders are back, you're relaxed, you look confident. That in and of itself can help you to not become a target, right? So typically people who are looking to attack have a motive. Typically it's money, right? They want to mug someone, they need money. Typically because they have some type of problem they're dealing with. Typically an addiction, meth, crack, heroin, whatever it happens to be. They're not going to be big guys or girls. Typically they're going to be pretty small, pretty scrawny, and they're going to either A, want to use a weapon, or B, not attack someone who looks physically fit, right? If you've got a big belly hanging out and you're walking down the street, you're potentially a target. You're slouched, your head's down. Those are targets, okay? And thieves and robbers and muggers look for targets. They prey upon the weak, right? You don't get a lot of bodybuilders who get mugged, right? You don't get a lot of athletes who get mugged, right? So again, these are things that you should be thinking about. Again, in a typical week, you should be planning out your week and saying, all right, Monday I'm going to do weights, Tuesday I'm going to do stretching, Wednesday I'm going to do karate, Thursday I'm going to do karate, Friday I'm going to go back to weights, or something like that. And every day I'm going to walk, or every day I'm going to take 20 minutes and stretch. So these are the kind of things that you should be putting into place as a student to become a better student, to become a better you, okay? I have a book that I wrote that I don't sell it, but I typically send it out to my students whenever they join my class, just so that they can have it, because it kind of goes through a 90-day period, gives meals for every week, and articles for the 7 days within that week to kind of just give you more information about nutrition and health and fitness and things like that, right? So it's a good place to kind of start and get your mind kind of working. And so I highly recommend it to everyone that takes my classes, is to just ask me for this book and I'll just send it to you. But again, these are keys to make you a better student and a better you. And that's what I'm looking for at this point, okay? I'm not looking for the next black belt. I'm not looking to just say, hey, here's another person that I can promote, right? I got into this to help people become better people, okay? All right, so the Zanshin I've gone over the uneven surfaces, things like that, fitness, mobility. Speed in a couple of different ways. So I've gone over speed and the fact that you should slow down, don't rush from belt to belt, right? And then speed as far as getting faster, right? So the more you work on specific things, the faster you're able to get them done, all right? It's the same thing as playing a video game, right? You kind of remember what's the old code for a Contra? It was like up, down, left, right, BA, start, right? If you do that on a controller, the first few times it's a little slow. You get faster and faster the more you do it, right? Same thing with karate, okay? When you start doing kata over and over, you're able to get, number one, faster, but also better at what you're doing. It doesn't look clumsy. It doesn't look clunky, right? And this is what I'm talking about as far as another aspect of speed. So being able to work with an uke or another student helps a lot as well. It helps whenever somebody throws a punch and you're not, okay, here comes that punch and I'm going to step back and age uke and then I'm going to step forward and do this, right? You get into that mindset of instead of the uke always going ready, punch, okay, ready, punch, into this more, okay, we're standing up. This is more of a non-consensual stance, right, that we're in, right? You're both close to each other, right? So that's another thing I want to talk about is start working on closing distance, right? Because like I said, typically we're way back here and then you're standing way over there and I'm going to step forward with this punch, right? There's a lot of time and space in there. And in a non-mutual combat situation, in a bar, on the street, right, at a concert, whatever it happens to be, you're going to be close. You're going to be in each other's face because for whatever reason they're going to want to be close to you to tell you what they want, right? I want you to leave the bar, okay? You were talking to my girlfriend. I want you to leave her alone. Whatever it happens to be, right? For whatever reason, this person wants to approach you in non-mutual combat. They're going to be in your face. They want to intimidate you. They want to scare you, so they're going to be in your face. Okay? And this, again, goes back to fitness. If you look like you're pretty good shape, you can take care of yourself, they might think twice about even approaching you. Let's say they decide to approach you anyway. They're going to be close. They're going to be in your face. So these long punches that you can see them winding up for become quick jabs, right? You're right here, I'm right here. I want you to get out of here, man. And then comes that punch, right? That uppercut. That's right here, okay? Your face is right there. They're just trying to get you out and done, okay? So these are things that you need to think about, is starting to close distance on a lot of the things that you're working on, all right? Which brings us to kind of the whole reason I wanted to start this class today was about blocks. Because a lot of people look at karate blocks and they say, well, that's not useful. You know, even in kumite, right? Even when you watch sparring in kumite, or if you watch karate combat, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Karate combat is, it's kind of like a UFC, but it's karate. So they don't wear shirts, but they do wear a belt and they wear their karate pants. And it's only karate. All right, so it's not jiu-jitsu. You can't do anything on the ground. They have to stand up. It has to be stand-up fighting. Okay, so as far as that is concerned, the blocks, you never see them. You never see someone come in with a punch and someone step back and do this age-uke rising block and step back into a zenkutustachi front stance. Right? You never see the arm come out, stretch for this soto-ryuke. Right? You never see this step back for this uchi-uke. Right? So these are the things that you practice, right? You learn at a very early stage. White belt is the first things that you start learning, or the basic blocks, right? And a lot of people say these blocks are just not practical. They don't make sense. Well, when you start closing distance, these blocks change, right? So age-uke, and we've talked about this before, it's not just one hand, it's both hands. Right? We've talked about marking targets, right? Where you mark and then you block, right? So a lot of people think that the block takes place at the last second, out here at the side. The block takes place here, right there. But I think honestly the block takes place in the middle. right? We've talked about this rectangle of protection that we're always trying to protect. That is literally what we're trying to protect. So the block may start over here and end over here, but it takes place in here. All right. So this is something that what I want you to take away from this class today is to practice this kind of stuff. Practice these blocks within this space. That if someone is throwing a punch, right? I'm not stepping back and doing this. I have another hand here, right? When that punch comes, right, I can move it out of the way. So that punch, there's the first move. That punch is coming, I'm moving out of the way, and then blocking, and controlling, and then countering, right? Punch across the face, punch to the stomach, right? So you still have control here. Okay, again, same thing with age-uke rising block, right? We talk about marking the target. So when that punch is coming, you're not blocking, or you're not marking and then stepping back to block. When that punch comes, right, you're stepping in and then controlling, and then the age-uke becomes a strike. Okay, so there's two parts to all of the blocks, and I've always kind of taught that as much as possible, right? Arm goes out, soto uke, okay? Uchi uke, here, and then you grab and stab, right? Age-uke, mark, and then you do the block. Gambarai is here, and then here, right? There's always two hands involved, and I think a lot of people lose sight of that second hand, or they always attribute that second hand as being the hikite hand, which it is, but that hand is always doing something. It's not just sitting here at your side to protect your belt. Okay, that hikite hand is very important in all of these techniques and all of these blocks. Again, when that punch is coming at me, this is my uchi-uke. I see it coming, I see the punch coming, I'm moving it out of the way, moving myself out of the way, and then blocking, and then controlling. Soto ryuke. You see that punch coming this way, moving it out of the way, and then maybe control, and the block becomes a strike to that elbow, right? Because if I throw the punch, you're deflecting, and then that soto ryuke comes in right there across my elbow. Okay? So a lot of times these blocks become strikes, but they're still blocks. And I hate to call them blocks because they are uke, right? It's soto ryuke, it's age-uke. The uke means to receive, right, in Japanese. It's, I think it's ushe-uke or uke-ushe, but it means to receive, okay? So I'm not putting up a shield, right? When somebody's throwing a punch, I'm not saying, you know, rising block. I'm not saying, okay, here's my shield against this punch, right? I'm not absorbing it. It's not coming directly into my hand. I'm not putting up a shield and everything that's behind the shield is protected and then the punch is blocked. It's not blocked, right? We are receiving that punch. So when that punch comes, we're deflecting and moving out of the way, controlling and punching, deflecting, moving out of the way, moving across the body, right? And so these are the things that you should be looking at with these blocks, okay? And that's kind of the reason that we do kata, right? I've shown you this before, that when you start with Heian Shodan, you start here and all of our kata start with a block, which means all of our kata start with someone attacking us and we're defending. So as you stand here and you see someone coming directly at you with a punch, the first thing you do in Heian Shodan is you turn and you block this way. But let's say your attacker is coming straight for you. Okay, you see that punch coming, maybe it's a left that's coming straight at you. It's deflected, grabbed, and pulled down, which looks exactly like the first move of Heian Shodan. So when you start looking at bunkai, which is a reason I like to teach the bunkai from kata, is because you start to look at kata in a different aspect, in a different light, and you start saying, oh, I see what we're doing here. We're not actually doing four attackers, right? There's not one here, and then I punch him, and then there's somebody coming over here, and then I move and block over here. Typically, a lot of this is one or two attackers or one attacker that is then getting up after being attacked and coming at you again. It's just you have to look at it from you have to look at it from the outside looking in. And if you watch someone do kata, you can kind of see, okay, I can see how maybe this is happening here. Maybe this is happening there. And he's defending against a bow or a jo that's being, struck or swung, right? So all things that you should be looking at. So what I'd like for you to do is focus on blocks right now. So from this class, what I'd like for you to take is these blocks. Okay, so look at someone throwing a punch and you deflecting and blocking, grabbing, right? Maybe you can strike a move. Okay, same thing, you see it coming from the other side, so you deflect and block. Okay, soto ryuke. You see it, you deflect, grab, block. You see it, you deflect, grab, block. Okay, ayuke. Like I said, you see the punch coming, you're moving in to block or to control that punch before it gets there. You don't want to be at the place where that punch is going to land. This is the target, I don't want to be here, right? If this is the target, I can move myself in, take their space, and that surprises people. So, again, practice these type of things, okay? And if you want to be very specific about it, I've said this before as well, most punches are going to come from the right. It's going to be that big right hand, it's going to be that straight right, it's going to be that right jab, or it's going to be that right uppercut. You might get a left hook, right, to kind of catch you off guard in the stomach, and then they're going to follow that with that hook, with that uppercut. But these are all things that can be, again, blocked. And if you really want to focus on that right hand, then that's what you should do, right? You see that right hand coming. How do I want to defend it? I want to move in, okay, that right hand coming again. I want to go on the outside of it, again, allowing me to punch or move or manipulate the body, okay? That right punch is coming again. Let's go for soto ryuke. So when it comes in, you're grabbing here and then striking, like I said, across the elbow, right? Shotokan. This is another one that often gets overlooked, where you kind of are doing this and then this, right? So again, when you see that left, or when you see that punch coming, you are stopping it, right? So you're moving in to stop it, then being on the outside of it so that you're able to control. You see it coming. You can see when somebody's getting ready to throw something or they're going to wind that up. That's when you can move in and say, stop, right? And then do something else, okay? You see it coming, so maybe you're going to stop and then, again, shotokan, all right? Maybe once you're here, then you can come across again with another shuto, again to right here and these sides of the neck. But try it with someone, okay? Try it with a willing partner that's able to say, you just say, look, throw a couple right-handers at me. Let's start slow and let me see all the different ways that I can defend myself against that right-hand punch. Because that's what's going to get you out of a situation. And like I said, we're looking for that 100% quick power response. I'm not asking you to say, okay, someone grab me and then I'm doing this, and I'm going to break the posture here, and I'm going to wrap them up, and then I'm going to step over here, and then I'm going to... It's too much. It's too much. And karate doesn't teach any of that. All right? We're very straightforward, we're very linear in our movement, and we're very precise in what we do, and we're striking with power and being done and getting out of the way. Right? So when that right-handed punch is coming, and you move in, and you block, and then you strike, you should be striking with 100% power. Make that person wish that they had not attempted that initial attack. Okay? Same thing with that. Any of those other more simple blocks where you're kind of deflecting and then grabbing, blocking and then grabbing, or then you're moving in for that knee. Again, 100%. Make your counter attack 100%. This isn't. That's just getting you out of the way of the attack. Right? Whenever that first strike is actually coming in, you're defending, right? That's your initial defense. What comes after, that's different. What I'm talking about now is the initial response. Not getting hit. Blocking. And blocking again at close range, right? Someone who's right there who's going to look to throw that quick punch, you don't have to do much to defend against someone who's standing right here and they're throwing a right-handed punch, right? Here and there. There's a lot of power in that, okay? And again, you know how to transfer your weight. You're an advanced student. You know how to transfer your weight and move your body and sink in, right? They don't know that. So whenever they're just standing there and they're hoping, you know what, this quick jab to the face is going to take them out. They're going to be done. They're going to wish they never saw me in this place, wherever we are, right? You as a student are already in somewhat of a stance to prepare yourself. You're fit. You've done this before. Your adrenaline is up. You've gone through 10 kata in a class in a week, right? And that's in one day. And when they stand there and they're getting ready to throw that punch and you see that twitch, you see that it's getting ready to come, that quick movement in and strike does a lot, okay? That quick defend here, block here, and then punch, it's going to take them by surprise. And what it does for you is allow for you to escape and get out of there. To say, I didn't want any part of this to begin with, but I've ended what's happening and now I'm leaving. All right? That's what I want you to do. If I taught you anything, it's to get out of the situation. I don't want you to ever think anything you've learned with me is to put you into a situation. You're not looking for anything, okay? The only thing you're looking for is a way out, okay? That's what I'm teaching you, is a way out, okay? Non-mutual combat is not something that you want to be a part of. Muggings, things like that, people are holding a knife to you, people holding a gun to you. People holding a knife to you, unless they have a hold of you, it's easy to go, I'm going to leave. Back away. Unless you're blocked in by something and you actually have to start physically fighting with someone, unless they've actually moved at you with a slash of some sort, there's no reason for you to stand there and say, okay, let's talk about this. What do you need from me? My phone? Okay. Go. You're fit. A crackhead's not going to chase you down. A meth head's not going to chase you down because you have $5 in your wallet. All right? Think about these things. All right? Zanshin. All right? Don't walk toward the meth head. Don't walk toward the crackhead on the sidewalk. Move. Change your direction. Okay? It's not something that's very difficult to do, but you just have to have that situational awareness at all times. So again, taking out of this class as far as physicality, I want you to work on blocks at close range. All right? Take some time to work with another student. If you can't work with another student, work with a bag. Bring your bag in, set it down close, right? Within an arm's length, you should be able to reach out from right here and touch your bag. That's where I want you to work. And start doing these things like, okay, there's another punch coming. Let me defend, crack against that. I was showing you in another class previously where you tied the belt to the bag and you're kind of taking these arm's length type things and blocking it, right? And we may go back and do some more of that. So I'm kind of laying the foundation for where I want to move as far as my advanced classes and students are concerned for several reasons, right? I want to start going that direction to enable you to become your own teacher at some point, to enable you to say, where can I look for other things? Study other martial arts. Look at other variations of karate, Shito Ryu, Goju Ryu, Weido Ryu. There's Kyokushin, right? There's a lot of different karate out there that you can learn and incorporate them. And say, hey, this is the style that I like, right? This is a style that really meets my needs. Shotokan has obviously met your needs up to this point. And now you want to enhance it. So how do you want to enhance it, right? You've been going down this road. Where do you want to turn? Kyokushin, Goju Ryu, Shito Ryu. Where do you want to turn? to make it your own path, right? It's kind of like a maze, but there's lots of ways out of the maze. Which path do you want to take to get out? It's up to you. I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to go down my path, okay? I chose my own path. I want you to choose yours. If it's mine, then stick with me. Stay doing what we're doing here. But I'm literally telling you as part of my path to make a left, make a right. Just try it, okay? All right. Let's come back to center of the class. Yoi. Misubrachi. Ray. Yoi. All right. No C's out of the day because I've just been talking to you and lecturing to you, and I hope that you've stayed through the end of the video to kind of understand where I'm coming from today. Hopefully you'll take something out of this class and really move forward with it and understand what's to come with some of these advanced classes. It's going to be more talking and less action, but I'm going to give you some things that I want you to work on your own because I believe that you should be working on these things on your own. Okay? Thanks for joining me. We'll see you in the next class. Os.